We have a new update from the president as he was just on Air Force One, making his demands loud and clear that he is only seeking an unconditional surrender. Now, this comes as Tehran has gone up in flames after multiple oil refineries were attacked late last night. So let's first go to the actual videos showing you the oil refineries being attacked. Take a look.
نابود کرد.
If you ask me, that looks like the apocalypse is occurring at this moment in Tehran. Obviously, I don't want anybody who's innocent in this matter to be killed in the process. But guys, they are still arguing. And just so we're clear, Pete Hegseth and the president both said it repeatedly. The biggest wave is yet to come. So if we're already seeing things like this, that means what's coming must be 10 times bigger than what we've seen up to this point. Or they might just be saying that as they play to the cameras in a way to stifle the enemy here, which, as you guys know, is the murderous Iranian regime. Now, let's actually go to the reporting on this so you guys kind of understand the updated status of what's happening inside that country. Take a listen.
Perhaps with a sign that President Trump knew what was coming tonight in the skies over Tehran, a major strike just took out a lot of Iran's oil infrastructure. A number of refineries seen caught on fire, and President Trump taking a true social before the strike, saying, quote, "Today, Iran will be hit very hard, under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death because of Iran's bad behavior are areas and groups of people that were not considered for targeting up until this moment of time." Now, no country has been hit harder, Joey, by Iran than this one. Over 40% of Iran's missiles and drones have been launched here at this country where I'm standing, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. That's twice the number that have been launched at Israel. UAE is a party to the Abraham Accords. And tonight, a skyscraper here in Dubai, about 20 minutes away, 23 Marina, was hit by falling debris after a drone was blasted out of the sky. The Dubai media office says the debris also fell onto a parked car, setting it on fire and killing the Pakistani driver inside. And this morning, another drone also managed to slip through Emirati air defenses and hit the Dubai airport, shutting down operations for a short time. Emirates, the largest airline in the Middle East and based here in Dubai, says it's resumed flights but on a limited basis.
I think I've made this clear, but I want to make sure you guys are still on the same page here. The president is not going to slow down here. He's not looking for a compromise, concessions. He's looking for an unconditional surrender or face death. Why do we put it that way? Because he knows if he is unable to secure that scenario, America will be back where we are today 10 years from now. And we know that because all we have to do is look in the past. So that's why I've always been of the mindset, if we're going to do something, we've got to go all the way. And that's essentially what I believe he is doing here. Now, the interesting part about all this, the current president of the country of Iran actually came out and apologized to the Gulf states because, as you guys know, the UAE has been hit more than any other country, including Israel, by the Iranian regime. And here's that president here.
Now, Iran's president went on TV earlier today to apologize for attacking his neighbors in the Persian Gulf, but was immediately contradicted by state media moments earlier. Here's Masoud Pezeshkian.
The decision was communicated to the armed forces that from now on they should not attack neighboring countries or fire missiles unless those countries attack us.
Now, in the Arabian Sea, the USS Abraham Lincoln continues launching jets to destroy some of the 3,000 targets in Iran the Pentagon says have been destroyed so far. The Ford aircraft carrier strike group has been moved into the Red Sea from the eastern Mediterranean through the Suez Canal. And as you mentioned, a third aircraft carrier strike group, the USS George H.W. Bush, is preparing to deploy. In fact, we saw one of her escorts, the Donald Cook, leaving Yorktown, Virginia earlier today. That's a place for major weapons onloads, including Tomahawk cruise missiles, SM-3, SM-6 interceptors.
All right, so now what I want to do is take you to a series of clips from the president as he was on Air Force One, leaving the ceremony that honored the 6 service members who lost their life in Kuwait. You guys already know how I feel about that particular situation. Again, this is exactly what you sign up for. You know exactly what you're getting yourself into. There are so many service members serving overseas with or without this conflict with Iran who are always in danger, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, their lives were lost in this particular conflict. So obviously my heart goes out to their family and thank you for their service and sacrifice. So grateful that I'm still alive to be able to do this show with you guys. But here's the president reacting to that ceremony. Take a look.
Hello, everybody. It's a very sad day, and glad we paid our respects. It's a tough situation. Great people, great parents, wives, family, and a beautiful ceremony. I guess you got to see that at least much.
Yeah, it's absolutely a sad day, especially for the family members. No question about that. That's why if you're going to do something like this, you've got to get the job done, right? Their sacrifice cannot go in vain. And I believe the president knows that, including the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. They've been taking this very seriously. And while they're focused on the mission at hand, the media is focused on propaganda. I will get to that here later in the video, but I first want to at least take a moment to just honor these service members by playing the actual clip where they are coming off of the military airplane, and they will share their names, and it's just a whole thing here to honor their sacrifice. Let's play that now.
There you see the president, the Secretary of War, the vice president as well, all taking their positions on the tarmac to honor these 6 members of the U.S. Army and the Army National Guard, all of whom were killed in that drone strike. You can see Air Force One in the background there. It's a C-17 Globemaster that brought their bodies back in the transfer cases. We will soon see them escorted off of the C-17 in those flag-draped transfer cases. A moment of solemn remembrance now. Let me quiet down. The 6 men and women whose remains are being brought back to the United States today in this dignified transfer ceremony. Let me read their names. Major Jeffrey R. O'Brien, Captain Cody A. Cork, Sergeant First Class Nicole M. Amore, Sergeant First Class Noah L. Teachins, Sergeant Declan J. Cody, all of them returning to the United States today after their service.
Now, if you guys haven't seen my critique of Megyn Kelly's statement regarding the service members, let me at least button it up and provide a much higher IQ point here. American soldiers do not die for Israel, Iran, or any other country. They die executing the orders of the United States government in service of American national security. You can debate whether a policy is good or bad, but please do not rewrite their sacrifice because you're looking to score political points on social media. I mean, that's really where I stand on the issue. And by the way, every year, U.S. service members die in training, counterterror missions, secret classified missions. And I don't hear you guys complaining there, right? So again, when soldiers die, whether it's overseas or here stateside, they die serving the United States of America. And when we speak on their sacrifice, that's what we should lead with. Now, having said that, let's go to the president. Once again, repeating himself. He's only looking for an unconditional surrender. Take a listen.
Can you give us an idea of what unconditional surrender looks like to you? I mean, what do you want from Iran?
I said unconditional, not conditional. I said unconditional. It's where they cry uncle, or when they can't fight any longer and there's nobody around to cry uncle. That could happen too, because we've wiped out their leadership numerous times already. So it's if they surrender, or if there is nobody around to surrender, but they're rendered useless in terms of military.
Now that position from the president has not changed. I don't believe it will change unless they do exactly what he's looking for. It's the only thing that makes all of this worth it in the end. Let's go to the next issue that he had to respond to. Essentially, the U.S. military is being accused of blowing up an Iranian school the first day that this whole thing kicked off. Here's what the president had to say about those allegations. Take a look.
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hickson? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still
But
investigating.
the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran,
Can you give us an
because
idea
they're
of
very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
And he's not the only person to say that, of course. But again, you'll have to make up your own mind on who you believe. So you guys know I like to show you both sides. So I'm going to show you what CNN is claiming. According to their analysis and their experts on the ground, they say it was the U.S. military. Hear it for yourself.
And a really important exchange there that we heard and we alluded to just a moment ago, but we heard it there with President Trump and Hegseth. President Trump saying about that strike on an Iranian girls' school that the Iranian state media said killed well over 100 people, including many girls. He said that he believes it was done by Iran. Again, CNN analysis that we had just published yesterday said, based on a number of factors, it pointed to the U.S. in all of this. What was interesting is that after the president said that he believed it was done by Iran, the reporter you heard asked Defense Secretary Hegseth what he thought, and he said, we're still investigating, and then essentially said the only people who target civilians is Iran.
Now, regarding these strikes, if you guys can see, the elementary school is right next to what? Just look at your screen. IRGC compound and military buildings. It's wall-to-wall connection there. So even if the worst case scenario, we did strike that elementary school, but we were really targeting the IRGC compound, one can reason why that actually happened. Again, there's no confirmation we did it, but this is how misleading the, in my opinion, CNN is, because why didn't she show that photo when she was talking about it? Of course not. It's propaganda, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the president also had a statement for the Europe countries, particularly the UK, after Starmer confirmed he's not going to get involved here. Take a listen.
We are not joining the US and Israeli offensive strikes.
That was UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Monday, but within days he was sending British forces to the region after Iran had fired at the UK's Royal Air Force base in Cyprus, and after President Trump had compared him unfavourably to Winston Churchill. The president continued to berate the Prime Minister in a Truth Social post just a short time ago, saying of Starmer's new plan to send aircraft carriers, quote, "That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer, we don't need them any longer, but we will remember we don't need people that join wars after we've already won." The French President Emmanuel Macron also told his people, quote, "We are not at war," and then scrambled French fighter planes over the UAE after a French naval base in Dubai was hit by Iranian drones.
All right, let's just pause here. So both of these leaders come out and say, we're not getting involved in this. We don't want any part of it. And then they actually deploy military assets in response to what Iran has done, especially some attacks against their own citizens. I mean, it's a complete contradiction, a public humiliation, and just stand on it. I mean, why not just come out and say, hey, listen, we're not going to actively get involved in this war, but we will respond if our own citizens are attacked. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. I don't know why they're trying to be so politically correct about this, but I mean, that's just the way that I saw those comments. All right, let's continue here.
Now, according to the reporting of the Wall Street Journal, this is exactly what Iran wants. Part of a strategy drawn up by Ayatollah Khamenei before his death to draw other countries into any war, to disrupt the world economy, and to thus increase pressure on President Trump to back down more quickly and seek a negotiated settlement. But I think it's fair to say, Joey, that strategy, if indeed it is Iran's strategy, doesn't seem to be working. You just heard President Trump aboard Air Force One saying that there will be no negotiated settlement. And from the point of view of the Islamic Republic's leadership, both the US and Israel say the worst is yet to come.
I mean, if the worst is yet to come, then what I showed you at the beginning of this video, I mean, I don't even know how you process that as far as your imagination is concerned. One more, I guess, issue here at hand that we have to show you is the president's response to this new report that Russia has been feeding intelligence to Iran. They asked him about it on Air Force One, and here's what he had to say.
Mr. President, can I ask you what Peter asked you a question yesterday? He said it wasn't the right time in that event, but he was asking whether you have indications of whether Russia is supporting Iran somehow in this.
No, I haven't had that. I haven't had no indication of that whatsoever. If they are, they're not doing a very good job because Iran is not doing too well.
What about the Strait of Hormuz?
All right, so there's really only two ways to look at this, in my opinion. One would be those reports are irrelevant. They don't really mean anything. They could absolutely be false for all we know. In fact, Russia could have been feeding Iran intelligence for many, many years now. So this is nothing new. And then on the other hand, maybe this is true. Maybe they're all of a sudden feeding intelligence to Iran. But what difference is it truly making at this point? I mean, Iran's oil refineries have gone up in flames. Their military is literally at its knees. I'm not too sure how that's helping them exactly. But all right, here's what CNN had to say about it.
We also heard from Steve Witkoff, when asked about the reports that Russia, again, reports that CNN has reported as well, that Russia is sharing intelligence with Iran on the location of U.S. military and its members, its service members. He said that they had strongly told Russia not to do that. And the president said if they are doing that, he doesn't think it's helping. But neither really expressed. The president said that he'd say that he believes Russia would say they do it against, that the United States does it against them. But neither of them coming out strongly against Russia for doing that, for targeting U.S. service members.
Now, right there at the end is why I wanted to show you guys that clip. That's the way they mislead their audience. She says that the president wasn't tough enough because he did not condemn the actions of Russia for targeting service members. Wait a minute. I didn't know they were targeting service members. That was not the report. The report was intelligence. What is the intelligence exactly? They don't know that information. According to anonymous sources, right? I mean, that's the way that they do these things. So, again, my mindset is this is why you don't listen to mainstream media, of course, but also, if it is true, I'm not seeing what effect it truly has on what's happening here. But anyways, when you think about this entire video, give me your thoughts in the comments section below. I think at the end of the day, things are continuing to look bleak for this Iranian regime. This is a president who's going to see this through to the end. And we are using more of our military capabilities, in my opinion, than what we've seen in Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's why I've always said we don't actually need boots on ground. We need to use the technology we have. If we can do that, I think this is going to be over sooner rather than later. And when I say later, I'm talking about years, if that makes sense. All right, give me your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, let's go to our next major update regarding the state of Virginia, which is absolutely finished. The governor continues to issue ridiculous demands that continues to put the residents of that state in jeopardy. And I'm talking about their public safety. So if you guys missed out on that update and what she had to say, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.